What is happening, people? Scarface Personal here, back with another one of these weekly shows live on YouTube every Monday, 7:45 p.m. Today, I'm joined by three fantastic guests. Two of them are with me now. Firstly, David, regular face on lots of Spurs channels and podcasts. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Just enjoying your intro music, actually. That's quite calming, right? Because it's like 5 a.m. in Sydney here. If I had that intro music after watching the game yesterday morning, I'd have been quite happy with that.
Absolutely, Joe. To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie, we do it with Spurs. Last season was mainly a therapy session, so got to have some calming music in there. So I'm glad you're a fan, but thank you very much for giving me your time at so early in the morning as well for you. So thank you very much. Haz, how you doing?
Well, I have calmed a bit since yesterday, but apart from Tottenham, I'm doing all right.
I think a lot of people could say the same, to be honest with you. Kallum will be joining us a bit later, but also thanks to both of you for stepping in last minute, because sadly we had three guests, including Crackers, pull out, but we do wish them all well, whatever circumstance. But if you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. I said the last show, a lot of you do watch but don't subscribe, so if you can, that will be massively appreciated. Smash the like button, it's free to do so, it helps more people see it. Get involved in the comments if you are listening live on YouTube, because we're very keen to get your thoughts. But if you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, don't forget to drop us a follow and a 5-star review, all helping the content improve and grow. So thank you very much. And so do get involved in the comments, because we do want to have get your thoughts, because I think there'll be a lot to say, it's fair to say. But David, I'm going to start with you. Thinking back before the Liverpool game and thinking, an hour before when we got the lineup, what were your thoughts on it? Because we saw Ben School come in for Richarlison. A lot of people weren't happy with that lineup for various reasons. Were you one of them that weren't happy at the time?
I think the thing with Richarlison is just come back from injury, right? And basically, I think what Anne said is that it was a question of, it's 2 games in about 3 or 4 days that I don't think he could have managed. So I don't want to see Son playing in the middle. I don't think he's not a central striker. I think the decision to put Veliz out on loan in Seville, which at the time I thought was a very odd decision, has proven to be the case. He's not even being used out there either. And he only started showing a little bit of form, that goal against Brighton. And I think the game he got injured, he came on the sub and was playing and did all right. So that was an odd one. As for the rest, I think it's just a question of he keeps shuffling the midfield because he's not happy with them. And I think that's just where we are, really. And as at left back, he's got no choice. I think I've worked out that you've got Ben Davis, Destiny, Perisic, Mana, all left-footed players are all been injured for the season, which is very unlucky.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been unlucky with injuries. I think a few teams have been, but I think we've certainly been up there with those injuries. A lot of them happening in training as well, all at once. Talk to me about the lineup before the game, because sometimes you have your bold lineups before the game. Were you happy with what you saw an hour before kickoff?
Surprisingly, the midfield for me, when I saw it, I know a lot of people might have seen it as there's no number 10 there, it's negative. I actually thought, a little bit of me thought he might change the way we play for one game, because the fact there was no number 10, I thought maybe we might soak up the pressure a bit and try and play just a bit on the counter, because you had Ben brilliant number 10, who's more player, in the team. So I thought, maybe, especially because he moved to the right, I thought, maybe he'll drop off a bit and maybe play not low block exactly, but just play just a bit further back, because we can have a playmaker. Can you hear me? Right.
Yeah, I can hear you. All good. Keep going.
Okay. So I thought we might see a different style. We just thought the same thing. So I was coming to the conclusion he doesn't know what his best 11 is past the defense, and he's just trying every single combination, like David said, to try and find one.
Right, Haz is having some technical difficulties at the moment, so I'll add him back in a bit. So we will move on for now, and I want to touch on Liverpool's first goal. So David, I'll come straight to you. Because it was 1-0 Liverpool. We saw Salah score. Has Emerson got to do better for you? He just loses track of where Salah is.
Yeah, I think that Emerson in Spurs' history, we've had a few left backs who were right-footed over the years, and have been a lot better than Emerson. I know that's not fair on Emerson from the point. Emerson has played across the whole defence at some point or another this season, but whether you're on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the defence, you got to be with your man, and his positioning was shocking. As we'll talk about each of the goals, pretty much all of them came down Liverpool's right-hand side, right? So it was poor marking. And so for Salah to have had a row with Klopp on the touchline and been out of form, and then sees he's up against Emerson Royale, he must have been laughing at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Salah as well, we obviously say, rubbing your hands together, really. Welcome on to the podcast, Callum. How you doing?
Not too bad, mate. Thanks for waiting for me. I've been
right.
at work today, so it's been a long one. But no, all good. You're right, Dave. How you doing, mate?
Hello there, Callum. Nice to meet you.
You too, man. You too.
Thank you very much for giving us your time this evening, Callum. Jonathan, throw you straight in there because we're discussing Liverpool's first goal, scored by Mohamed Salah. Has Emerson got to do better for you? You know, we discussed it briefly yesterday. I mean, he checks once but doesn't check the second time. Poor from you, from Emerson?
Yeah. The more I thought about it today, it's evening, Barney. It's been one of them ones where I think, it was very poor from him. And we know he's playing on the wrong side. He's being exposed more. He's not used to that side. But I think the basic thing about being a fullback is you know how to track your man and you know how to look behind you and know where you are. Well, it looked like Salah had a 5-10 minute head start on him. It's like if you go greyhound racing and the rabbit goes out first, well, Salah's the rabbit and the greyhounds are sitting there still waiting in Emerson's point of view. So, no, it was a difficult one, but I think we all know that Emerson Royale is not in the best of form. He's not the best backup, and I think a lot of Spurs fans would happily see him go pretty much just leave in the summer without having any remorse for him whatsoever going, to be honest, mate.
Fair enough. I think that a lot of people will be in agreement with you. I mean, I think he's had his ups and downs at Tottenham, but whether you want him in a team that hopefully in the future can challenge in major competitions is a completely different story. But do get involved if you're listening live on YouTube. Haz, I'll come to you because we are discussing Liverpool's first goal. It's on Emerson Royale, isn't it? This one.
Can you hear me all right now?
Yeah, all good, loud and clear now.
I don't know what that was. I've never
Nor do
said
I.
that to me. So it is on Emerson, but also you need to look at the shape of the defense in that phase. Like, I'm not saying Emerson's not at fault for this, by the way. It's just if you look at where he's standing and where the other defenders are standing, it looks like we're all over the place. Like, there's no shape. And obviously he wasn't aware. I don't know why he watched Salah and then just stopped looking at him and just totally lost him. Like, I don't know what he was doing, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it is on Emerson, and it's no surprise that he is up for sale this summer, if you read reports. So yeah, I mean, but I do. When I watch this play, I just don't think we even practice defending. That's what it feels like, anyway.
It does, you know what? I think it does feel like that, to be honest with you. And Haz, staying with you, Liverpool's second goal, Robertson scoring what was the follow-up. Again, has Emerson originally got to do better to stop the cross coming in the box, which is all scrappy. And I think, we had a lot of players who could have got rid of the ball, but ultimately the ball came in the box. Should it have been allowed to by Royale again?
I mean, obviously not, but I think it's very easy to scapegoat Emerson for this result. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of the people who's slayed Emerson for years, okay? but like, I think this whole conceding goals is a collective issue. I don't think it's just one player. It's lots to do with shape of like how we're defending, and just it's just not. Although this, you can attribute it to Emerson, he probably takes about 50% of that blame for these goals. I do think there's like an underlying issue in the way we set up defensively. Like, there is clearly something wrong.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Big up Holly in the chat as well. Go check out Holly Hotspurs if you haven't already. Just reached 3K as well, so big up Holly. Absolutely deserved. David, I'll come to you for Liverpool's second goal. What do you kind of put it down to? Is it a case of we just don't get rid of the ball? Do you think it's really poor? What's your reasoning behind it?
I mean, the other thing is about Emerson and that goal is that I didn't see that Johnson tracked back at all for that. I watched the highlights again quickly last night, and that second goal, Johnson's like nowhere. Yeah, and I think in that system, well, in any system that you have anyway, especially when you're playing away, your players who are on the flanks have got to come back and help out the fullbacks, right? Whether they're inverted or otherwise, that's what you have to do. And I think that I think yes, it comes from each goal. I think comes from Emerson's side, but the reality of the situation is Johnson's got to do better to help out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Tom Wade in the chat says Skip at left wing back for the remainder of the season. I don't want to see Royale there ever again. Didn't and doesn't work. The subs that were made on Sunday come in for the weekend and go with that. I completely agree, but we will get on to Burnley towards the end, so stay tuned, Tom, because I put your question to the panel about what they think about Oliver Skip playing left wing back. But Callum, I'll come to you. Liverpool, as we know, were 2-0 up at half time. Were they, for us, were we lucky to just be 2-0 behind at half time? Our XG was 0.04 compared to Liverpool's 2.27. I think that really tells the story of the first half. Should have been more than 2-0.
I think we was lucky to only be 1-0 down when they scored the first goal, to be honest, mate, let alone by half time and all that. No, it was a really difficult one because we didn't play well. I think the first 10 minutes we might have done all right, but once again, there was no sort of cohesion or any sense that we wanted to go and score a goal ourselves. We do all the nice tick-tack, get up there, and then we don't know how to get into the box. We don't know how to shoot from out the box. We don't even know how to shoot from within the box. So, yeah, I think you are right. We are lucky to be just 2-0 down, especially as no one really turned up for us, to be honest, mate. And I think Johnson on the left did nothing for us at all, and Kulusevski on the right either didn't, and Son was non-existent. So it was one of them where you'd hope that we'd have shown a reaction from Chelsea, but no one didn't look up for it at all, mate.
This is turning into a very cheery chat already, isn't it? We're all happy.
Spurs. The last time Spurs lost 4 on the trot was in 2004.
That's right.
Jesus Christ, who would that have been under? As
David Pleat.
Pleat.
Yeah.
And
when Levy sacked Hoddle in September,
and he put Pleat in charge, didn't he?
Pleat in charge. That was the season that we were 3-0 up against City in the Cup, down to 10 men. City. You were there. Yeah. So I'm in Sydney, and so I got a phone call from a big City mate in London, ringing me as he's coming out of the stadium.
No.
What a lovely day that
Joe
was.
Barton got sent off at half time.
That's right. Yeah. That's when City. No, it was Pleat.
No, Joel was 07 onwards, I think. I think he's 07.
I mean, I guess we can thank Pleat for finding Dele Alli,
06,
but that's about it.
Well, he did. Well, hang on a minute. I am obviously the oldest person on this panel by a country mile. He did manage us 86, 87, and he took us to a cup final.
Yeah, my dad told me.
Thirdly. Yeah, there you go. I'm just probably no doubt the same age as your dad. So the reality.
Oh, no. My dad's like 80, unless you're like.
No, I'm not 80, unless the Botox is going.
I was going to say the sun's good for you down in Australia, ain't it, mate?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come up. Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come up. You might get to see sunrise if you're lucky, but anyway. Yeah, look, I think, I mean, it's, we've got to cheer ourselves up.
Absolutely. David, we'll ask you the same question, though, because, we were 2-0 down at half time. Was that a fair reflection of the half? Did we deserve to be behind?
Well, look, according to Liverpool fans and supporters, who obviously the world was built around them, they should have been 15-0 up and had VAR revenge left, right, and centre. Because the co-host that I got was Jim Beglin, who, of course, used to play for Liverpool. Yes. And he said that's the worst VAR decision of the whole season. Of course it is, Jim, because it's Liverpool. So we should have been down by far more, of course. We did well to get to half-time at 2-0, I thought.
Yeah, I'm absolutely full agreement. And there you go, Haz. I'm going to put that question towards you. Were we lucky to be just 2-0 down at half time? Did we do well to only be, it sounds silly to say, did we do well to be 2-0 down, but did we do well to stop it becoming, the game being over at half time, if you like?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, we're 3-0 down against Arsenal, so I guess it's sort of an improvement there from that game.
Jesus.
So it's 2 instead of 3. But we were very lucky it wasn't more. I did feel like a lot of people are saying this is really since Newcastle. I've been saying, oh well, Newcastle are was it how many injuries? We should be going there and winning. We go to Chelsea, they have like 15 players out. Oh, we should be going there and winning. Liverpool apparently on the beach, and I'm hearing, and then it's like, oh, we should go there and win. And I'm like, do you not realize where we're going to? Like what away games we're going to? And it's like we just go there. It's like we're having a kickabout, and then they just score 2 goals, and it could have been like 4 or 5, I think, by the end of the half. And it's just the same old every week. That's what it feels like. I mean, it's just Groundhog Day every day. That's what it feels like.
Fair enough. We will get on a bit later after we touch on Liverpool in terms
I
of
didn't want to touch on substitutions.
the project.
We might talk about it later. So.
Yeah, we'll get on substitutions as well. Don't worry.
To be fair, it's really strange. I've been listening to quite a lot of people this week and today as well, and so many fans have said that they checked out at 3-0 half-time against Arsenal and all that. They're just saying the season's over. We should just write it off, think about next year, all of that. I don't know whether it's the same for you guys or not, but I'm just thinking we've still got something to play for. I know everyone's paid off and very annoyed over the last 4 results, but 5th is still with us. I don't know how oh, there we go. Palace are beating United, so it kind of links in with my point. But the thing is, 5th is still in our hands. We've still got to fend off United, Chelsea, and Newcastle. So we've still got to actually do something in these next 3 games. And
I don't want us to beat City, though.
I don't know. You know that's the one game that will probably win Haz out of the last 3.
If we win that game, I'm going to be angry. I'm sorry. I'm not giving Arsenal the title. Where I live is going to be horrible if Arsenal win the title. I'm sorry. I won't be able to walk out without like 10 Arsenal shirts walking down.
I was going to say,
where do you live then?
It's North London. It's Southgate.
Southampton. Yeah,
I work in it as well.
I work in Enfield, mate. So I'm literally Tottenham turf, and then as soon as I go down through Haringey, get to Seven Sisters, and you're just like, yeah, I'm in a place where I can't have any Spurs stuff on whatsoever. It's ridiculous.
I've got news for you. I've got news for you, boys. They allow Arsenal fans in Australia as well. Okay, they do roam around Australia. In fact, I even worked with an Arsenal fan, and he was wearing his Arsenal shirt on our team's meeting yesterday. He's all happy. I've asked him if he's booked his flight to go to England in May to go, get the bunting out down the town hall, celebrate it. So lots of gooners here as well. Don't worry about that.
Can't you just ship them out to the outback and just leave them out there? Just leave them by Big Rock or something like that. It'd be wonderful.
What, Uluru? That's a big rock there. Yeah, that's right.
Just leave them out there. Leave them out there.
We're getting back on track. We'll come to you, Callum. So no worries at all. Worst start to the half. Oh, I think so for Spurs in the 15th minute because Gakpo with the goal. I mean, it's been awful of late that we made him look like prime Ronaldo or Messi there. So yeah, Callum, is it the worst possible start? For Spurs to the half in terms of you have that Postecoglou team talk, no changes, and within 5 minutes we can see. Talk me through the goal.
It was another one where I don't want to drop Royale's name into it, but I'm going to have to. I think that he definitely had a lot of fault with the goal. And when you just had a rollicking from Postecoglou at half-time and you're thinking, go out there, show some backbone, show some grit. We didn't show anything in that 5 minutes up to that. They had so many chances. And then when the ball gets played over the top, Royale just knocks it out to Salah. And literally, it just gets put over to Gakpo and all that. It just does nothing to help. And once again, Royale gets skinned. And we said it last night that probably Romero wasn't at fault. Gakpo just did a nice jump to head it in. But I actually think that Romero could have done a bit better as well. But the whole basis of it is that we didn't. We started the second half as we ended the first half. Just dross. There was no intention from the players that had started to turn it around or do anything. I just think they probably just sat there at half time thinking, 15-minute break. Here we go. Might as well just go again and do the same old stuff. There's something seriously wrong through it. And I think when you saw earlier in the season when we was like losing 1-0 and Andrew get them to come out and play well in second halves, well, we're not even doing that now, to be honest, mate. So it's just one of them that's a long-winded. Well, I've gone about it a long-winded way, but let's put it this way: we didn't give a damn about conceding the third goal, and it was once again a catalogue of errors from our own players which caused it. It's not even a good goal by Liverpool. It's just us making mistakes.
Yeah, it was, and Callum, I agree with you in terms of I think that the first 3 goals of Liverpool are sadly all down to Emerson Royal. And I don't need to feel like it's an Emerson Royal battering show, but he's being played out of position. So do you put that, Callum, staying with you, on Postecoglou as well as Emerson? Obviously, Emerson made the mistakes, we know that. But if you're Postecoglou, before the game, would you play Van der Ven there, drag us in? Or because the fullbacks invert, really, we can play quite a few midfielders in that position. So, do you also put that on Ange, Callum?
If it had been last year and we was playing a back 3, I'd have said that, play Van der Ven on the left, drag us in middle, Romero on the right. Now Ange doesn't play that style, and I don't think he ever will. I think only one game this year he's turned into that back 3, and that was against Everton, and that didn't even work when we conceded that late goal as well. So, but
it didn't.
And I don't think, if you're going to play a normal fullback that's not going to invert, then I would say you could probably do Van der Ven there with Dragusin or Romero switching between the middle. But to play an inverted fullback, I mean, I know we'll get onto the subs later on, but a midfield player would be more suited to that inverted role if you're going to try and play across that middle, say 4 that they create with the 2 dropping back. But
so you're saying a middle player, a midfield player should play at the fullback? That might lead us on to a conversation in about 3 minutes' time.
Yeah,
nice segue.
It could do, Dave. But yeah, I don't think Emerson is completely faultless. I don't think Ange is faultless. But when you've got your 3 left backs or left wing backs or whatever you want to, or inverted fullback crap, I just think that when you got 3 players out injured, you're left with very limited options, and Van der Ven isn't anything more than a fullback. I don't think, not an inverted one. So
no, he hasn't really played inverted before. I've seen him play left back, but not that way. No.
Yeah, and even that was only a couple of games for Wolfsburg, won't it?
I saw him play for Holland that in a few games as well, at left back. Yeah, but it wasn't inverted. It was just like a normal fullback.
Yeah, that was more just so they could get Van der Ven in the setup because they still had Van Dijk, didn't they?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do think people forget that inverted role will be a lot harder to play in terms of you have a lot more responsibility going forward and on the ball. Your fullback is your typical defensive work and occasionally offering that little bit going forward. As a fullback myself, the majority of it was defending, and a couple of times in a game you'd be relied on for that overlap, that extra attacking option. Just to trick the defender and that extra option. So. Van der Ven, can he play? Someone who wants him to play left back, but if he does, I think we'd have to scrap inverted fullbacks. But David, I'll come to you. Liverpool's 3rd goal. What do you make of the way we started the half? Because it's not the way we wanted to start it. And again, do you put that goal? You agree with Callum in terms of it's also down to Emerson Royal?
Yeah, I mean, he lost the ball. I mean, he had the opportunity to get the ball out, and he lost it, and he dawdled too long on it. I just want to point out as well that a lot of people think that. Paratici's done a lot of good deals, but paying 25 million quid to Barcelona, who are cash strapped for Emerson Royal, was a shocking deal, right? And I think that, and the other thing is, I agree about Romero as well. I think Romero and Van der Ven have weaknesses in the air, and so when people talk about we don't defend set pieces very well and things like that, both of them at times are weak in the air. And so, it was just, that went in, that was pretty much it then, 3-0.
Yeah, Dave, if I could just add one to that as well. When Barcelona had a field day that summer when they sold Royal, I said last night that they sold Mariba to RB Leipzig as well for like 40 million. We was trying to get him and Royal for it, and he's turned out really weak as well. It's just a lot of these players that they've just made a fortune on, and yet they still can't meet FFP.
Weren't we linked with Tomiyasu that summer as well?
Yeah, we were. We didn't
We
get a
went
deal
from
for
Emerson to Tomiyasu. I don't know how
That's
we
right.
did that, but
It's
anyway.
one of them like Trossard that we just didn't pull the trigger on. We just faffed about, and then got Royale in like the last 2 weeks of the window.
Yeah, it was
that.
it was on the Nuno, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me and I'll throw in what is it? 25 million for Brian Hill plus Eric Lamela. Which would be, I mean, Eric Lamella's about a fiver, but you know, that's 50 million quid. He's done a lot of good deals, but you got to remember he's spent 50 million quid on Hill and Emerson.
There's a lot of good deals.
Who
Also a lot
else
of
did
money
we sign
wasted.
that window? Was it Romero?
He was a 40 million, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, even that was
yeah.
one of them weird inflated corruption deals of Juventus, weren't it? Where they sold them to Atalanta for like 10 and then negotiated it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, there was something about the fact that you can't do 2 loans in a window or something like that. Because I think we got him on loan.
Play 3 different clubs in the window. Either, right?
I think we did. Did we get him on? Yeah, we got him on loan to start with. So I don't understand.
Yeah, we did.
Well, I do understand. We all understand now why he was sold from Juventus to Atalanta, who then loaned him to us. So, but at the time, it looked a bit weird.
Another waste of money as well. Galini we had from that window as well. The Italian Pickford.
Yeah, but Galini can. Yeah, but Pickford can't
He
rap.
can rap though, Galini.
Galini can rap. Pickford
That's the only thing I remember from him, anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Love it. Haz as well. Liverpool's third goal is scored by Cody Gakpo. We saw, as David said, Emerson lose the ball there. A little bit of pressure, but for me, he invited that. So do you agree that the goal's down to him? But also, I'm going to ask this question. I'm sure to you as well, because I think you'd have a lot to say about it. Do you put it on Ange? Even more than you do Emerson Royal in terms of he started him in that position, and there was other options, not many, but there was still other options.
I mean, obviously, Callum alluded to the fact we could play Van der Ven on the left, which I'd argue was a more comfortable change than pushing Emerson there, because Emerson's not even left-footed. And also, unfortunately, as a consequence of moving Van der Ven, though, Harry, is that, let's be honest, with that high line we play, literally Van der Ven literally cleans everything up. So you're throwing in Dragus in, with Romero, who haven't really played that much together, to try and move Van der Ven on the left, who, from we've gathered from me and Callum's conversation, and for what we've seen, he can't invert. He's not done that before. So you're either asking Ange to change his tactics and say, look, we have a lesser quality defense, we need to play further back, or play in a different way. Let's just put it that way. I don't know how else to put it. Or you go, which I'm more with Callum's idea, of play 5 at the back, because we're playing away to Liverpool. And we know the wide areas are going to be a big problem. And then you can use Van der Ven and Emerson to double up on Salah. And then Romero and Porro to double up on Diaz on the other side. I'm just talking them. But
our manager, in terms we know that Liverpool going to overlap, especially that right hand side with Alexander Arnold.
But then if you play a 5, the fullbacks won't invert, so he won't play a 5. So it's his stubbornness, really, that's just... And the thing is, I have, like, with Emerson, everyone knows my feelings on Emerson. I've been on this platform for about 2 years. I do not rate Emerson at all. But you're basically hanging him out to dry, really, in terms of just playing 1-on-1 with Salah. Like, we left Davies 1-on-1 with Saka the other week. It's just, what's going to happen. We literally saw it live. Like 2-3 weeks in a row now, where we've had mismatched all over the pitch, and it's easy to say because I know you're going to talk about it later about putting Skip there. I'll leave my thoughts on that later.
Won't be long.
I'll be long on that later on, because you might need to apologise to someone, Harry, but not me, someone else.
Right. But I'm gonna be thinking now.
Okay, but so like for me, and with the heading, okay, we knew Van der Ven's heading is his weakness too. But with Romero, as far as I knew, his headings actually meant to be one of the best of our back line from what I've seen. And I thought if you watch his body language, the way he goes up for the header, it's like he didn't really care that much. It was like, oh, if I miss it, it's fine. If I get it, it's all right. He didn't seem to care that much. And I find Romero, and this maybe it's quite unpopular, I think sometimes he plays for himself.
Oh, I
bit
know.
controversial, as bit controversial.
It's the biggest shout of the night so far.
I was saying it last season, but now I'm just like, is he doing it again? Like, I
Oh.
don't know. So
See, after last weekend, where lots of people, he had a great game against the
did.
Gooners, you know, on X or Twitter or whatever it's called these days. Everyone goes, he's
Yeah,
definitely,
X.
he should be our next club. He
Captain,
should be
yeah,
the
yeah.
next captain. So I just want to remind everyone that last season he went on strike, not once, but twice, right? You know, he was injured before the World Cup, and then the first day of training for pre-World Cup camp, there he is. Didn't even bother turning up for the last game at home before the World Cup. And then after the Newcastle game, nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. And I also point out he's been in the country for 3 years now. Now, I think he should make a bit of an attempt to speak in English and learn the language. And then people say, well, he's not confident enough to do that. Well, he's been there 3 years. I think if there's anyone who might agitate for a move in the summer if an offer came in for Madrid.
Really?
No, I think the thing about Romero, I said it after the Newcastle game just recently, because he had a bit of a fight with one of the Brazilian players. I said, it's all right. The thing about Romero, when he sees a Brazilian player in the opposite team, he starts to like want to punch them and this, that, and the other. Whereas this weekend just gone, he starts having a go at Emerson at half time.
Yeah.
So, you know, he doesn't care. The next will be Richarlison.
Well, if I can just,
they used to have no. You're interested to bring this up because they used before Richarlison came to Spurs. Romero, they had
regularly.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. To be fair, Dave, if I can come on to your point as well, Richarlison, he's been in the country longer than Romero. He doesn't speak. I think it's about 5 or 6 years, something like that. He still don't speak full English.
Since Watford, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, he came over with Watford as part of the Watford group merry-go-round of players they have. He still don't speak English, but yeah, Romero is the same.
Sorry to cut across you, but trying to park in Watford's hard work. So he's probably spent his time trying to park. It's a nightmare.
Tell me about it. But no, Romero does it with a lot of South American players. He starts on the Uruguayan players as well. And all that. It's not good and all that. But he went on strike last year. Lo Celso did as well. Because they all wanted to disappear. And I think Royale did as well. They just disappeared on them World Cup camps. They just disappeared and all that from all the limelight. So it was ridiculous, to say the least, and all that. But it is ridiculous. And yeah.
Fair enough. Dave, we'll come back to you.
Yes.
Because for the fourth goal of the match, which of course went to Liverpool, was Harvey Elliott this time with a goal. What a goal. How good do you put that goal? Is it goal of the weekend? Is it a good goal of the month? Is it contender for the season? Just how good was it from Harvey Elliott?
Well, in the detailed prep that I did for your show, Harry, I made some notes here. And if you don't mind, I'll read it out.
Go for it.
The shot... Where was Bentancur and Sarr? Was Bentancur off by then? I mean, Sarr was almost like he ducked. I'm sure he didn't. But it was
Bentancur was on. Bentancur's still on the pitch at this moment.
Okay, so he had all the time in the world. He had that time in the world to have the shot. So it was a lovely shot, great goal, very promising player, etc., etc. But I felt he had a bit too much time. But, it was a great shot. Vicario couldn't do anything about it. And it wasn't a set piece either, which is good news.
Don't worry, it started with Royale as well at one point with his poor clearance out. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it did start with
just
Royale.
Not his day. Not Royale's day, I think.
He could have either knocked it out for a corner or put it up in the air, and he just headed it forward straight to the Liverpool player. And then, like you said, Bentancur didn't have any inclination to want to just intercept it or make a tackle or anything like that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Haz, I want to get your thoughts on it, actually, because as Callum's mentioned it, Elliott obviously with the goal, the fourth goal for Liverpool, which happened in the second half. Is there anything Spurs could have done? Because I looked at that and at the time when, okay, it's a special goal, there's nothing we could have done. But if you watch it back, there's no pressure at all from the defence, from the midfield. It looks like they're willing him to shoot, which is always a worrying thing, I think, especially at Anfield. So who's at fault? I mean, we don't like to point fingers, but if you had to, if I said to you, who's at fault, who would it be?
And they're all at fault because they shouldn't be putting more pressure on the ball. Harvey
Well,
Elliott
there is
had all the
that.
time in the world to come across with his run and just pick a corner and smack it. That's how I saw it.
Yep.
By the way, I'm a massive fan of Harvey Elliott. I've all the youth I've seen at Liverpool so far, that Klopp's like brought up. You've got Quensah, of course, he played, and Bradley. Harvey Elliott's the one I probably like the most. But I think they signed him, right? They didn't get it from youth, right? Did they sign him? I think.
Yeah, he came from Fulham. Harvey Elliott did. They got him for like 7.5 million.
Yeah.
Like
He's
that.
been
Oh,
he's been a brilliant player. When I watch him play, I think he's got a lot of potential to be like a top player.
Mm.
Yeah. So giving someone like him time and space is never a good idea. But I think it's just very easy to scapegoat one player, and I'm normally the person to be like, oh, it's all Emerson's fault. But I think they all just gave up by that point.
Yeah, fair enough. In the 61st minute, Maddison, Richarlison, and Skip all came on for Kulusevski, Bentancur, and Emerson. We will get on to what happens from now to the end, but I want to touch on it. Oliver Skip conversation. So, David, we will start with you. What were your thoughts when you saw Skip replacing Royale? Because I don't know about you, but I was like, what am I looking at? I mean, I know Royale's been awful, but you put Oliver Skip there. Was your reaction the same, or were you just refreshed to see Emerson come off the pitch? Because obviously it wasn't his day. I think we can all agree that.
Well, you got to remember context and time zone, right? Because the game was on at 1:30 on Monday morning, so I watched it without knowing the score at 5 a.m. I started watching it then, right? And then we're 3-0 down, and the next thing I see Skip running around, and I'm going, first of all, is that Skip? And then the next thing was, is he playing left back? And I mean, if you're Emerson Royale, right? Imagine this now, right? Emerson Royale goes home on the Sunday night, and it's a long weekend. He decides to. You're going away for a cheeky bank holiday break, and he's on the plane, and you're on the plane. You're going to go, I'm getting off this plane now because Emerson Royale's here, and he's had a shock of a day. So for Emerson Royale to be replaced by a midfield player who has not played since January, that's got to hurt. For Oliver Skip, right, and we'll get on to Lo Celso in a minute. For Oliver Skip to go, right, imagine it on the side, right? All right, Ollie, come on, you're on. Warm up now. We're 3-0 down. You're up against Salah. I want you to play left back. I mean, credit to him. He put in some. He tried after he came on, having not played for 3 or 4 months and being asked to play in a position against Salah that he's never played in before. So I've got to give him some respect for that. The other changes, like, Richie coming on obviously makes sense. And obviously we have to change the midfield because every game we sub, we always change the midfield. So, it is what it is.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much. Kallum, again, what were your instant thoughts when you saw that change be made? And also, how well did Oliver Skip, do? Because for me, he's gained a lot of respect off me in terms of, as David said there, he looked really, really fresh, hasn't played for several weeks. Came in 4-0 down at Anfield and done a job. So for you, your reaction, when he came on and also after his little shift, if you like.
Well, my inclination to start off with, that I was thinking maybe he was going to go to a back three and the Van der Ven was going to get pushed out there and maybe Basuma would drop into the pocket between Romero and Van der Ven. But then when I did see Skip playing there, I was shocked, but you never know. It could be something that they've been practicing. I mean, Skip can play as a sweeper, so he could realistically play in that role, but he tucked in nicely. I mean, let's put it this way, we didn't concede any more goals, so at least that's one bonus. But no, I think he did well. I think there's a good chance he's going to be sold this summer if we can at least meet the homegrown quotas. I think he is a sellable asset. It's profits Daniel Levy, but no, he did himself some credit, and he couldn't have done any worse than Royale. I mean, Royale's been at fault for 5 goals in the last 2 games. So I mean, it's nothing short of stupidity how that stacks up. So yeah, I think he did well, and he did himself some credit because he did neutralise Salah. But I mean, Salah didn't even come off, so he did marshal him for good nearly 30 minutes, and he did well. He did well, mate.
Yeah, I thought he did. And Haz, are you on the same feeling, if you like, in terms of not what we expected to see, but it worked out really well.
Theoretically speaking, playing him as an inverted fullback kind of works because our fullbacks don't even play at fullback; they kind of just play in midfield. So if you think it that way, playing a midfielder there like him or Sarr kind of makes sense. So as for Skip himself, I'm kind of on TJ's bandwagon. I think we should keep him because every time he's come in this season, he's actually put in a performance to give him credit, and he's homegrown. You're not going to get a player like that who's going to come in every so often or play like just the cups, for example, and put in a performance. It's very difficult. And I'm one of those people.
You'll fall into the same bracket as Harry banging that drum for Højbjerg, mate.
But I think with Skip, at least with Skip though, he could actually get better. I think Højbjerg's got to a point where we're not going to get much more out of him. And it's nothing against Højbjerg himself. I've actually been one of those people who've praised Højbjerg under like Conte and Mourinho, but he's not going to fit in this system, Højbjerg. He's not going to develop his like passing. I don't see it happening. And his age is not on his side in that respect. But with Skip, at least there's the homegrown thing. He's clearly shown he'll give wherever you stick him, he'll give something. Like he'll leave something on the pitch. Like I've never said Skip's not given enough. And maybe it's a theory we should try in the future, like as in because like I said, Skip is a midfielder, right? And our fullbacks don't even play in midfield. They just play as number 10s or in midfield, wherever you want to see it. So in theoretically speaking, it actually does work. But when I initially saw it, I was kind of with Kallum's thinking, I was like, is he going to go back to back three? And I was like, no way, he's going to go back to back three. And then I see Skip at left back. I'm like, what? But to be fair to him, like I said, I think he did all right. Whether I want him to start instead of saying someone like Van der Ven against Burnley is a different question. But I do think after that, considering Ange doesn't even know his best midfield, you might as well just chuck him into the midfield.
Well, I'd rather I mean, it's too late now, but I'd rather give Skip a run out more than Basuma.
I'm with you.
I think, Basuma's form's gone off a cliff, right? I mean, in terms of Højbjerg, I always used to call him Mr. Flappy Hands because he always got flappy hands on the pitch, and he always used to flap his hands around when he wasn't concentrating. And we'd lost a goal or a free kick or whatever. But I give Højbjerg credit because he's been very professional all season. He hasn't slagged off the manager, and when he's come on, what I liked about Angeball in the first 10 games is that he brought Højbjerg on and Perisic. I think Perisic has been a massive loss. I really do. 100%. And they come on to manage the game towards the end, and I think that's a good thing. But I think with Højbjerg, I think for Skip, for the sake of his career, he's got to go. I mean, he's got to look at it and go, I'm like way down the pecking order here.
Yeah.
And if I was him for his career, I'd go. And Højbjerg will go as well.
Yeah, I think they both leave to be on full agreement.
Yeah.
Kallum, 72nd minute, Richarlison scores. So your thoughts on the goal? Was it for you tap in? And should he have started the game? I know it's easy to say during the game or after the game, but would you have started him if you could reverse time? I would have.
Yeah, I mean, we know he loves the game against Liverpool because we know that he hates everything about the Copites and whatever you call them. He definitely was always up for it, and he was up for it last year when he played as well up there. But what we can't get away from is that, and excuse my language, he was dog shit on Thursday. He really wasn't good. He did nothing for it. So I mean, it's so difficult. He hasn't realistically started a game properly for the last 2 months. He's been out injured, everything like that. So I think it would have been a big ask, but I think he could have at least done some better damage than, say, Johnson or Kulusevski on there. And Son, we know, is not a winger. So yeah, I think that Richarlison would have done stuff, and obviously he did come on and score. Johnson had a nice little link up with him, played it across. I don't care if it's a tap-in or not, by definition. At the end of the day, it was a goal that we needed, and it showed that the subs did do something for it. But took him a while. Let's put it that way, mate.
I mean, to be fair to Richie though, against Chelsea, he had no service whatsoever. Yeah, no service. And I think this is where we're missing Kane, because he scored lots of goals in teams where he got no service whatsoever, because basically he provided to himself. Is
We
what
don't
he
have
did.
enough. Son and Richarlison are not. Well, none of
They're
our
not
forwards can really
nines.
create for themselves.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Haz, I'll come to you actually, because in the 77th minute, your favourite player, Son, scores to pull it back to 4-2. Did you believe at that point? Because, okay, we get a consolation. I didn't expect us to go and score again. Did it kind of feel like the Brighton game away in terms of we're really bad, a day to forget, but we showed a little bit of fight towards the end? Were you impressed with the fight that you saw from the players?
I thought. You're not going to like this. I thought Liverpool kind of just checked out after they scored the fourth goal. I thought they were just like, oh, we were 4-0 up. There's no way they're going to score 4. So, yeah. And I mean, the changes did make some impact, but he waited till... I know he had them prepared at 3-0, so I'm not going to say he waited till 4-0 because that's a bit unfair. But he waited till we're 3-0 down, as usual, to make a change. When, I'm sorry, if he's going to make changes, make them at half-time at least, because at least come at the second half a bit more momentum and maybe a bit more fresher with obviously fresh legs, 3 new players. And bearing in mind, in this day and age, not unlike back in like the 2000s when you had 3 subs, you can make 5 subs. So it's not like, we make the 3 and then you can't change it again. So I think it's down to him for not making the subs early enough. And because at 2-0, you're still in the game. Once the 3rd and 4th went in, just forget it. And to me, I had no faith we're going to come back and draw 4-4.
No?
We had enough chances. We had enough blinking chances in there.
We certainly did.
Didn't we?
But we just don't have the quality there to score 4 goals against someone like Liverpool. And I think Liverpool, even if they wanted to, they would have scored more. I mean, even on the break, they brought on Nunes. I know Nunes isn't the best, but he had chances. I mean, I'm sure other of their players had chances to score more as well. I mean, it was like they were doing, both teams were on holiday, and then one team scored 4 goals and thought, I'm in Ibiza now. And the other team was like, okay, it's time for us to get a couple of goals to look respectable.
Well, Nunes is the Uruguayan Andy Carroll for Liverpool because they paid a lot of money for him, and he's not all that. I'm kind of sensing has a little bit of Ange out vibes about you. Is that? I'm for my fellow Australian.
I'm Greek as well, so I should be defending Ange, not slating him.
Well, I mean, you've got more closeness in lineage to him than me, really, because I'm obviously a North Londoner who's got an Aussie passport. But I'm claiming him. I'm claiming him at the moment.
As you do. I love it. Callum.
But it's just, I don't know, it's just because I've just watched the same thing every week and it's nothing's different.
We will get on to we got to Ange. Hold your thoughts on
we
that.
We all have.
I'm looking forward to getting to it. But Callum, did you believe a 4-2? We had 13 minutes normal time to go. I still didn't. I was like, oh, okay. At least we've shown some fight. But did you believe, even for a second?
Of course not, mate. Not a chance. Right. No, I mean the fact that no matter how much like Lo Celso plays well and all that, and he gets brought in the 75th minute when you need a creative midfielder and all that, mate. I mean, what does the man have to do to even just get on the pitch? So I mean, we didn't do anything. And I mean, when you think we bought on Richarlison, Maddison, Skip, and Lo Celso, they bought on Gravenberch, Nunez, and Szoboszlai. I think Szoboszlai as well. That even when they're taking their foot off the gas, they had intent. We didn't have a clue, mate, and all that. And yeah, we got 2 back, but I think, like the guys have said, it's where Liverpool had just packed up and gone home. They'd just given up and done nothing. It's what Arsenal did last week, though, as well. Remember, the only reason we got them goals was because of Arsenal mistakes. It wasn't because they stopped playing or anything like that. It's just they made mistakes for it. So. Yeah, I don't think we had any chance at all, mate. The game had been lost and gone by the 60th minute, to be honest.
But surely it was our high press that was causing all these mistakes to get us back into the game.
Yeah, I know, but if we can press from minute 1 and not minute 75, then like the first 10 games that we had, it'd be great if we could get back to that. But it's either the players don't know how to do it or the players aren't buying into what Ange wants to do. that is being our issue. And like Mark's just said, we don't get out of third gear. Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't even think we get out of neutral half the time and all that. I think well, not even that. We're probably in reverse. We're probably reversing back down the high road or something like that. Or hopefully Daniel Levy's car's in the way and we reverse into that and then drive off very quickly, to be honest. But
no, Callum, we have less money to spend in the summer if that
You don't
happens.
spend anything anyway, so it's not really...
Yeah, so, well, like we said last night, we've got the hotel. We've got the hotel. It's brilliant. It's going to generate all this money to build another hotel. Nothing else.
We're just a property development company disguised as a football club. That's why.
Hang on a minute. Don't forget, we've got a hotel, we've got a go-kart track, and don't forget the Levy Dome Cinema is coming. All right, and he's going to have a 3D special. It's all coming. Just a quick mention on the second goal that we scored. The great work done by our new marauding left back Oliver Skip, because he was involved and he did have a part in the build-up. So respect to Skippy there.
Absolutely. Before we move on to Postecoglou and the project in general and individual performances, in the 87th minute, there were claims for a Spurs penalty. Joe Gomez's foot on Son at the back post on Brennan Johnson. For me personally, I think it's excellent defending. If I'm being totally honest with you, okay, yeah, his foot's high. He's won the ball. You know, he's got there first. Yeah, Johnson has a right to go for it, but so does Joe Gomez. For me, you know, you've got to sometimes take your Spurs hat off. For me, anyway, and I look at it and go, you know, if it was the other way, you just got to look at it like that. I'd be absolutely fuming if it's given against, because for me, that's excellent defending. As a defender myself, if a teammate or a colleague, if you like, do that, then they'd be getting pats on the back, because I think that's excellent defending. They've been brave. They've got there at the back post, but not a lot of people agree. That's why I want to put the question to the panel. So, Haz, I'll come to you first. Is it a penalty, or do we? Some people say we're not getting it because it's at Anfield. Joe, do you buy all of that?
No, it's not a penalty.
Nice short answer. Unusual for you, but I'll absolutely take it.
I'm
going to complain. Lovely. Thank you very much. David, is it a penalty for you?
Look, obviously, as I'm old, in the 70s and the 80s, if you were stabbed in front of the cop and the opposing striker, you wouldn't get a penalty, right? So last year you had, I think it was Jota, wasn't it? Who put
Jota on Skip.
Yeah. So he didn't get sent off. So, and with Gomez as well. So the way it works at Liverpool, the leg's got to go so high up in the air, that's when the ref will give it. And it wasn't quite high enough for that, right? So you were very strong on this on X, Harry. You're very strong about it. It wasn't, you noted that. And I thought, look, by then the game was gone, wasn't it? So it didn't really matter. But was it a penalty? I'm going to go. It was a penalty because of the way the world is run by Liverpool, and you never get anything at Anfield, and that's my response.
Problem is, like David, you actually have an argument as to it being a penalty. And shall I tell you why?
Yeah.
Because it's the referees. I've lost all faith in all of them, by the way. All the VAR, all the referees. I think they're all garbage in this league.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, in every single game. I don't trust any of them. But it's the inconsistencies, okay? So, obviously, Kulu had that trip with Trossard the other week.
Yeah.
But then you watched the City game, and Haaland obviously got 2 penalties. And I'm in a lot of WhatsApp chats with Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, was it? And also lots of Arsenal fans were like, oh, one of them claimed one that wasn't a penalty. I can't remember which one it was. Not the one from behind, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But then you could argue, and obviously Havertz had that. You saw the penalty on the end of the day, right, with Havertz.
Yeah.
You could argue the contact with all those penalty shouts was all the same. The level of contact, I would argue, is all the same. But obviously, yeah. So then, if you're giving that one, you have to give them all. So and you do have a point in the sense, like if you're giving those ones, you have to kind of give the Gomez one. But then, when I said I wasn't penalty so firm on it, it's because I don't believe, if I was a referee, I wouldn't give a penalty for that. That's just me, though. But in terms of if you're basing on other refereeing decisions this season and levels of contact, especially the Havertz one earlier that day.
It's fun though, the go-kart trap. Buddy is right.
then you need to give that one, because to me that's the same level of contact.
Yeah, the other one is because the Bournemouth goal in the week, the infringement on Raya in the box.
Yeah.
Whereas
Not
at the
for me.
moment, as at the moment with Vicario, people stick him in a suitcase and they
I
still
don't think that
don't
was
give
a
it.
penalty, the Havertz one, but they give it, so they have to give the Joe Gomez one because for me that's the same level of contact. And
There's just
See, I get what you're saying. I don't know. Yeah, most of the YouTube chat are in agreement with you in terms of it is a penalty. Yeah, I don't have a problem with people thinking it's a penalty, but the amount of rubbish that I've seen. That's why, as David said, I was so strong on it on X. I've seen like acting like we would have won if the decision went our way. We're not going to get any from the game, and people crying corruption. And for me, people just go far, way too far. And the amount of crazy stuff I've seen from big, respectable accounts as well. I just right.
Problem is, guys, and this is why I'm categorically said I don't believe any of the referees, any of the VAR people anymore, because it's just like they pick and choose what is which. And it's like, if we had a consistency of saying this level of contact was a penalty, or this level of your arm being this high or something like for the handballs, because this is another thing. It's another conversation we've had on Harry's channel. If we knew the standard or the barometer for the amount of contact or where it is in the box, like, then we would know what was a penalty. But nowadays it's so skewed. It's so interpretation of the referee or interpretation of the VAR, whoever's sitting in the VAR, it's just not clear anymore. Which is why I've said, look, if the Kulusevski ones, if the Havertz one's a penalty, then you need to give the Kulusevski one the other week. You need to give this Gomez one, which I've said no, it's not a penalty. But there's no consistency. It's just that's what annoys me. Like, in terms of when you asked me which is a penalty or not, I said no because I don't believe myself as a penalty. I don't believe the Kulusevski one was a penalty the other week. But that's just my opinion in terms of what a penalty is. But if we're basing it on the refereeing and the VAR, we have to give the Gomez one as a penalty because it's the same level of contact, I'd argue, as the rest.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Callum, where do you stand with the decision? I don't remember if we touched on it or not. We certainly didn't in detail yesterday, but where do you stand on it?
Yeah, not a lot of detail yesterday, mate. But yeah, I'm kind of with Haz. I think that because the inconsistencies in contact barometers and measurements and what's your inside leg measurement and how long do they measure your fingernail, your toenail, your backside, how far your front sticks out, how far this goes that way and this goes that way. I don't think that anyone's got any clue what counts as a pen this year and what doesn't and where we are and where we're not. But by the standards there is, I don't think there's enough in it for a penalty. I think Johnson does more damage by twatting his head on the post, to be honest, if anything. And it just happens that he's already going to headbutt the post and that Gomez is just by any chance with his foot in front of it. That's probably what they measure it on. And like Dave said, unless you're a ballerina and you can get your leg behind your head and all that it won't ever be given at Anfield. So yeah, it's for me, probably not a penalty based on like what Jota did last year, based on how it is this year. If we'd have got a penalty, I don't think it'd have made any difference whatsoever. We weren't going to do anything further than that. The game was like all four of us have said, the game was long and done by then. And it just, we can all have this same discussion. We will get sucked into how you guys get on your Friday shows where you, TJ and Haz all rip into VAR and you get just sucked into this never-ending void of PMGOL this, they're all corrupt, they're this, they're that. Every fan is, and H, do you mind if I just swear once on here, mate? Do you mind?
Go on.
Everyone is completely fucked off with this completely this year, and no one knows where they stand with it. And I think referees do it with their ego. Other referees don't have a clue where they stand. The VAR don't know where they stand. Stockley Park is useless, and it's taken all the fun out of the game now. There's no fun in the game, and for the fans who are sitting in that poxy stadium waiting to see VAR in progress and all these checks, there's no
Callum,
fun.
I have you know, nowadays when there's a VAR check, I go to the toilet for 5 minutes and come back because I'm going to sit there and wait. After the Chelsea game, I was like, I'm done with this. Like, we're sitting and waiting for 5 minutes for a VAR check. I miss Callum back in the day when it was just like 2000. The referee gives a decision. Okay, sometimes he get it wrong, but you kind of just accept it because the referee he was firm. He made the decision. of course, we always had like I said, there's sometimes they get mistakes. We always had the post-match stuff. Oh, this could have been a goal. This should have been a penalty. But there was just one person just saying, no, this is a penalty. Not waiting for some other guy somewhere in, I don't know, in like Stockley Park, wherever it is, check it 50 times and then tell the referee, and then the referee might even go and check it again. And it's just way too long.
Exactly. There's no
I'm
transparency in it.
I'm just
There's
bored
no
of waiting.
transparency.
Yeah.
And it's why I prefer rugby. It's why I prefer watching rugby now with the at least professionalism standards for it. Everyone has respect for the ref. The refs are actually respected in the game, and the video assistant referees know what they're doing, and you can actually get hold of audio, which is even better. You can actually hear what everyone is saying. And I'd like to very much hear that. And I mean, even better, Mark Clattenburg stepped down as well as Nottingham Forest's advisor as well, which I thought was hilarious because I think even he's got messed up that much with it. But it's one of them discussions that we're going to have next year, the year after, the year after, the year after, unless VAR is either rejuvenated or scrapped in the first place, to be honest.
Are they introducing like automatic offsides?
Automatic offsides, and there's more goal line tech that's coming in next year as well. That's going to try and get it down to the little nano dust mite that goes along there, and if that dust mite can carry the ball over the line and all that, then you might get lucky or some rubbish like that. It's just
and then
so many
if
of
they
these
introduce
changes.
that sin bin thing, I'm actually like, I don't even know what to say anymore. You know that blue card thing?
Don't.
Yeah, that's the worst idea I've heard of. If that goes ahead, then football's dead.
Because you know, teams will just waste time till their player comes back on. So
doesn't seem right. It feels like children's football though, with a blue card for me. It just feels like a thing you do at a 4 or 5 year old party. You got 40 kids and trying to keep them all under control. So with this Premier League we're talking about, you're earning millions a week. So I just personally don't get it. I think it's pathetic. But we will move on. David, I know you have to go, but before you do go, because obviously people don't know, living under a rock if you like, it ended 4-2 Liverpool. So what are your thoughts on the overall performance for Spurs? And did the end show that the players do care and they do have heart?
The performance was awful, and I think it was a question that Liverpool got their deck chairs out on the pitch and got a good book to read, and that's what it was really. I think that we are heading into a situation where, and sadly I won't be around for this discussion of are we carrying on with the manager or not? But the reality of the situation is it was a poor performance. And I think there are a few players there who are just, they've kind of checked out. And that's where we are in reality. I mean, if you look at it now, Chelsea, I was very annoyed about the Chelsea game. So much so I rang up bloody Talk Sport and spoke to Jason
Cundy. Talk Sport?
Yeah, I rang up.
I don't know. We got knocked out the second round of the.
I rang up Talk Sport. It was absolutely. It's Friday morning. I got up at 4:30 to watch that one Friday morning, and it was binning it down. I was out. I just rang them up and I said to them, "This is not very good." But the fact of the matter is, in answer to your question, shocking performance. Don't really care if they showed heart or not. It's just too late by then. Liverpool checked out, and that. Unfortunately, is where it is. I think if we beat Burnley, which is not guaranteed, and we beat Sheffield,
you're definitely my camp now. If we don't feel good.
Yeah, and we beat Sheffield United, which we ought to. That should get us fifth, I think. And then, if you said at the start of the season, I said my targets this season, just to finish off, was Europa. To get the Europa this season, play more entertaining football, which is not hard to play less entertaining football. And a deep domestic cup run. And I think that one of the big mistakes Ange made was all those changes for them away in the League Cup. Because if you look at Poch's first season, there's a lot of disquiet about him. He had to work with a lot of players that he inherited.
Fazio.
Oh yeah, and also Levy basically said to him, pardon the pun, try and get a tune out of the Beatles, Paulinho, Soldado, and all that. And he had Cabal, Adebayor, Lennon, and trouble in the dressing room. But he got to a League Cup final, and that bought him goodwill. And that Chelsea game when we beat them 5-2, 5-3.
5-3, yeah.
That
New Year's
was
Day.
Yeah, that was a momentum, right, in that first season that took him there.
I think that kind
And
of showed us at that point that we could, with consistency, we could actually do something. That's why I felt after watching that game.
Yeah, that's right. And that's right. It's a momentum builder. And I think at times this season, after the first 10 games, at times this season in patches, we've played good football. But the reality of the situation is you get rid of Ange, it will be 6 seasons running with a new manager each season. And that is no way to run a football club.
And it'll be the same players that you're stuck with as well. That's
correct.
The thing.
There we go. But David, I know you have to go, so thank
you.
On
that bombshell, thank you very much.
Very early when you are as well. So thank you very much. Where can people find you before you jump on social media?
Just find me on the Twitter there, or X, sorry. And talking about all things football. I think people know. Yeah, talk sport. I was in England a couple of weeks ago. I rang up 606 after the Newcastle game as well. So I'm doing the rounds. But I just appear on various pods and YouTubes from time to time. People know what my views are on the ownership. So I'm always happy to have a good debate about my love of Daniel Levy ever since he appointed Villas-Boas. So there we go. But nice to meet you all. And Harry, thanks for having me on the show.
No, thank you very much. Have I was going to say fantastic evening. It's not for you. Fantastic morning and day. So see you later. Thank you very much.
Take care, Dave.
All the best. So, Haz, I'll come to you. Does the end of the game, where we got 2 goals back, you had a penalty shot, show that the players have heart? I know it's too late, but does it people questioning their heart? Is that right, based on what we saw and the end of the game against Arsenal?
Well, we both allude to the fact that we thought the other team was on holiday by that point. So it depends how you interpret it, in a sense that with the Arsenal game, Raya gave us a gift, and Rice kind of gave us a gift with a penalty as well. So, were we playing that great? I was there. I really don't think so. We were quite laboured. And against Liverpool, again, if they really wanted to, they could have put more goals past us, if I'm being honest. But they kind of just checked out after the 4th goal. But the most worrying thing is, and I've spoken to this on a previous show, I've done so many shows the past 2 days, I can't remember which one actually. Sorry. And we were saying that we think that maybe, because I don't know if you noticed the Richarlison chances when we started playing it long. Do you guys think that's because the players have just abandoned his tactics and thought, look, let's just go long because we don't believe in it? Because Ange's alluded to the fact earlier this week that he wants the players to believe in something. I don't know if you saw the comments. They must believe in this tactic, something like that. I know it's alluding to the fact that the players don't, because it was very ambiguous comments.
Well, Ange's comments in the week were, I think it was good. I think it was refreshing what we saw, but it was a kind of, not saying dig at the players, but it's, you're fighting for your careers in terms of, he made it clear that players need to be shifted. I think it's refreshing to hear the honesty from a manager and also put that pressure on the players. And, because we all know the cycle at Tottenham and other clubs, Chelsea's another one in terms of sack a manager, repeat, start
the only thing is,
go
Harry,
again. So it's refreshing.
Don't get me wrong, Harry. I see where everyone's coming from in terms of like not sacking the manager. But it's like, I don't know, I can't think of this analogy. It's not going to sound not very nice, but it's like say you're friends with someone, right? And you've known them for like a year. I'm talking theoretically so we can hear. It's the only way I can relate to this without coming across as a bad person or something. But that guy's been crap to you, like behind your back or something, for like 3 months. And say you have no other friends, right? Say you have no other friends. I'm just
Where's this going?
No, I'm trying to pick up the scenario maybe we can relate to. But then, would you rather have no friends and have someone not messing stuff up behind your back, or would you have someone that you're friends with who's still messing stuff up behind your back just for the sake of just having a friend, right? And the only thing I can relate to this is the fact that it's like people are, the way it comes across to me, I'm not saying this is right. People are free to have their opinions. They're free to justify why they think Ange should stay or not stay or whatever. But I just don't want to keep a manager for the sake of the whole not sacking manager because we've always sacked managers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
I think you pretty much just described Daniel Levy has, didn't you? Literally, deliberately just sitting there, just constantly stirring stuff up behind your back and all that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your friend in the first place and all that, hiring you and then going, oh no, I'll have a jab here, a jab there. Oh, I won't give you this and I'll screw this up for you and all that. You make a valid point though, mate. And
It's just hard. I was trying to find a good analogy to explain it, but yeah, it's just that I'd rather have someone than no one. But then, are we better off? Like, is the grass greener? Like, we don't really know.
And that leads me on to perfectly my next point, because a vital stat was released after the game that I didn't know, and I knew this to an extent, but I didn't know quite how drastic it was. And this statistic is 3 managers' first 35 Premier League games, their first season, and this includes Ange Postecoglou. So first place is Ange Postecoglou with 60 points in his first season after 35 games. Second, Klopp with 58 points, and third, Arteta with 50 points. So, Callum, does this provide vital context that we are on the right track? Yeah, we've seen progress, and the bigger picture is important.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Come on, so positivity. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does to a certain extent. There you go. I'll compromise with you, mate.
Lovely.
Yeah, it shows that we're making progress, but we've been here before. And us as a fan base are very reactionary. We will always make the reaction.
No, surely not.
Yeah, no. We're all
Not
happy
the top of
clappers,
fan
and
base.
we're all wonderful, aren't we? No, yeah, he's got more points than Klopp and Lego head down the road and all that. Before the first whatever number of games.
35.
35.
Yeah, before the first 35 games. So, I mean, yeah, we've made progress. Has it been good seeing the progress? Has it been all happy days? No. Has it been all good football? No. Is it something we're all happy with at the moment? Not too much, but we can see an idea. Ange has been like it, though, in most of the clubs that he's been to. In Celtic, it took more than a season, maybe 18 months to get what he was playing with. And he's having to deal with a lot of stuff from other people. So I think that, yes, he has made the progress. Has it been enough for us? No. But if we get rid of him, there's not many people who could come in and do much better, I don't think, at the moment, based on what managers are available. And there's a good chance that if we did make a change, there'd be someone else who would be questioning next year to... I mean, to be fair, Mark has made a valid point. We're not playing Ross County. But no, and it needs to be... Managers need time. And if we make a change now, there's not many people who I would rather have at the helm. We've been here before. We're going to be here again if we do it. And if we are 8 months next year and we've got a new manager, well, we're just recycling ourselves, and us 3 could be on this show just before the transfer window next year. And yeah, same conversation, same rubbish. And we'll be going, we didn't really stick by a manager and all that. But at the end of the day, we're all just fans. We don't influence what Levy wants to do. And if top 4 is where the club wants to be, then that's how naive our club is, not just the fan base. It's the club goes, oh yeah, top 4's fine. We don't want anything else. We just focus more on the off-field issues and all that. And then it's just this vicious circle that doesn't stop going around. And yeah, Mark's made a valid point as well, that without a plan B, we've got nothing. But what's our plan B? David Moyes? I mean, he's just
the people
come
who
out
can't see it. Mark Taylor says on the YouTube chat that Ange's high line will never work unless he has a plan B. You will not progress. I mean, Sam, yeah, if I had to assume, I think you agree with this.
But I don't. Arteta, Klopp, or Guardiola don't have plan B, do they? They've hammered their style in so much, haven't they, that their players...
Money, though, I think, comes back to money.
But then Callum, Arteta play attacking style... Sorry, Arsenal play attacking style of football. They came to Spurs and just played low block. That's the plan B, or a different style tactics. Everyone wants to label it nowadays. But my biggest issue with Ange is, I think he's a victim of his own just success. Words. I mean, he just comes out and says things and contradicts himself the week after. It's even got me confused as to 1 minute he says, I don't know if you've seen the comments saying, it doesn't matter if you don't have the players, just play your way, mate. And then the week after he goes, I don't have the players. And then he goes, well, it this will take time. Next minute he goes, I expect to be in title challenge next season. So it's like, what am I supposed to
Should he be in
believe?
charge though for you next season?
Well, if we don't get a result against Burnley, he can go tomorrow. So obviously next Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
But
I
then,
thought that was quite a silly question.
H, if I can just put it to both of you, we wanted
Absolutely.
progress this year, didn't we? So we finished 8th, nearly 9th last year. If we're 5th this year, then we have seen progress, which Ange said he wanted. We've all been calling for this progress to happen because we've been on a downward spiral for 12 to 18 months now. So surely we have made progress, though. And I know Haz, if we do lose to Burnley, you want him out the door and with his P60 in his hand and all that, and his P45 in the post and all that straight away on Monday morning.
Helen, my issue is like you could, for example, I've tried this. I don't know if me and Harry have had this conversation, but I compare his first season to, for example, Poch's first season, Renat's first season, and Conte's first, as in to see, like, obviously, kind of, if we were coming to this game on a run of, say, 3 draws or something, just as maybe different fixtures, like 3 draws or a win and a loss and a draw, but it's just, it's like we're regressing. The way I watch us, it's like we're regressing. In the first 10 games, obviously, we're really good. No one can dispute that. But it's almost like managers have seen the first 10 games, seen how we play. Ange doesn't change anything in terms of his tactics, his system. And we're just seeing the same thing every week, which is why I remember making this comment to you, Harry, on the Friday, maybe it was a Friday show or another show, after the Wolves game, saying teams have seen how to play against us now. Like, they know how to suss us out. And then since then, I don't know how many games we've lost. The same way, the same goal.
Too many.
The same goals. Obviously, we had the set piece issue, which he's said apparently is not important when it's a third of our goals we're conceding. Like, and I think the issue with Ange as well also is, and this is no disrespect to him or anyone that supports him, by the way, is that he has come from a lot lesser leagues compared to someone, say, like a Klopp or a Pep, who came in their first season, who came from top 5 leagues, who won trophies there. So it's very hard for me to be on board with someone who this is the biggest job ever of his career.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm not saying this is on the YouTube
chat.
This is very hard to sit there and say, oh well, he's won trophies, but it was in like Japan and Scotland.
My real concern is that if Ange did go, you know who we'd end up with. We'd end up with Poxy Mason and Matt Wells running it again, because you know Levy just has this merry-go-round of these guys just staying around. They won't go and get a job better off or anything like that. They'll just stick there, and then you've just got happy clappers. But I think that Ange has got a squad.
Do you not see Ryan Mason doing a Mikel Arteta?
No.
He's given time and money?
No, I don't think he's... Because
Why not?
at least with Arteta, he was learning from some of the best. That's the thing.
Do you think Mason should go away and come back in a couple of years?
I was thinking that as well, Harry. I think so. I think he should do that.
I think there's a manager there, just not necessarily now, because when he was in charge for that little period, took us to Anfield, and that spirit to come back to 3-3, obviously individual area, the reason we lost the game. I like that what I saw under that team. I look at him and I think that he can be a manager, but I suggested that he should go out elsewhere. You know, I suggested that it was not saying poor for him, but I suggested I don't know why he took the job under Ange. And for me, he should have been assistant coach or first team coach somewhere else. But not many people agreed at the time. But
Poch did get to a cup final, David. Sorry, I'm just...
Yeah, just read David's question out on YouTube. David, big up from Partly Podcast, who says, new manager bounce at the beginning and falling apart was always going to happen. Transition is hard. His record versus Poch in the first season is virtually identical. He goes on to say, Poch took a season and a half to get the players in the style before he wanted it, before he worked. And give it Ange a chance. Simples. I do agree with that. The only thing that I will share with Haz is if we continue with the zonal marking, when we conceding goal after goal after goal, and we're losing by these margins, it is a problem. Liverpool, okay, we didn't concede, and it wasn't evident whether it was zonal marking or not. So maybe it has, worked. For me, if I answer the questions in his post-match reactions, in his press conferences, and go, we've conceded too many goals to set pieces. We'll be working on it, or you can play it down if you like. You can't be going that it's not a problem and for me, treat it the way he does. But that's just personally how I feel. What do you make of the stat, though, as well, Haz? Does it provide vital context for you?
Which statistic? You mean the
stat of
Klopp?
the first 35 games in terms of possible
Yeah.
Leeds
What I
away?
would say
You don't want
to
to start
that,
another
though-
project though. You're not one for
I'm
projects.
kind of fed up of seeing the word project anyway. But what I'd say
We'll
though,
stamp
as
it
a
across your
caveat-
front door, mate. We put it across the front door of your house.
Yeah. My flat, I'll just write the word project as like a poster. Or something.
Yeah.
But as like a caveat, I'd argue that the back five we have will not change in the next 2-3 years. So Arteta didn't have that in his first season. Arteta was playing a back five as well because he knew he didn't have that. So Arteta showed for me more adaptability. And this comes from a Spurs fan, by the way, who stated Arteta for years. But if you really deep what he did adapt to what he had. And then you hear Ange saying, well, I don't have the players to play how I played, but then you're not changing the system then. So it's confusing. As for Klopp, I'll allude to the fact that, like I said, he's won trophies in a higher league. So it's a lot easier for me to say, oh, look, I'm on board with Klopp. Like if Klopp walked into Spurs and we had a season like this, I'd be like, that's fine. I know this guy can win a Premier League title. I know this guy can win Champions League. I know this guy can do stuff with lesser money, let's say, than the big five because he won trophies at Dortmund. But with Ange, because, and this, like I say, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying this is facts. He won trophies in Japan and Scotland, which we know Scotland is not like the hardest league to play. Let's be honest. Gerrard,
Of course, yeah.
And I know everyone says he's a winner, blah, blah, but it's very hard to be on board with someone who has that history, especially because he's been 28 years in management and he's not got a job as big as this.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I'm not saying
listening?
people have other opinions. It's just my take on that.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much for your honesty. If people are listening live on YouTube, score update. Palace are 3-0 up.
3-0 now. I was
3-0 against Manchester United. And I think that there's two ways you can look at it. I think there's both. Palace have been very, very good under Glasner. I think we played them a good time before he implemented his style.
Sack and they are scary. Do we sack Ange and get Glasner?
I do like Glasner. I very rate Glasner. I think he's done a fantastic
can bring
job.
in
Mateta
Elise, Eze, Mateta, and Mitchell, I'd be quite happy.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think United are woeful. But at least that means what? We can't finish.
United want Tuchel, actually. That's what I was reading.
United are going to finish above us. So that is a positive. I mean, I never thought we'd be looking down at United, Chelsea, Newcastle at this stage of the season, considering where we were. And
just want to say something else, sorry, Harry. I think I told you this London times, but Cam's not being here when I said it. My dad is almost 80, as we alluded to earlier in the stream, so I thought I might as well bring this up. He's watched Spurs since the 70s, and he labels me as like the negative fan, just like everyone else on YouTube is doing something negative. So maybe there's something to it, whether you like or not. But I was at a Luton game with him, of course, because obviously we guys like a family, me, my brother, and him. And he turned around to me during the game and he goes, Harry, we need a new manager. I'm like, what? And this is someone who I've very rarely seen my dad turn around and say to me, the manager's the problem. He's not like a leave out person per se. I'm one of those wild ones in my family who is, I guess.
Certainly
he's not, he's seen a lot more trophies than I have. He's seen the Aussie team. As when Oz Ideas with the manager and playing 4-2-4, he's seen, the UEFA Cup he's at, Anderlecht, for example. He's seen the 91 FA Cup. Of course, that was the year before I was born. So, he's seen a lot of football. And to me, I was very surprised that he turned around and said that to me because he's normally one of those people who's quite patient with the managers.
When did he say this?
At Luton. Bear in mind, we did win that game 2-1.
Wow. That was about 6 weeks ago now, something like that.
I was shocked. I was like, what?
I mean, did your dad watch Bill Nick and his team
back
in the 60s and all that?
He missed that. He was so my dad, as I alluded to in the stream, he's Greek, right? So he discovered Spurs like the 70s in Greece.
All right.
And they played Olympiacos and they won 3-0 or something, 4-0. It was like, oh, this team's quite good. And then he eventually moved to England because for work, and they started buying tickets, and the rest is history, really. So he's really been following since the 70s, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, David made a really valid point in the chat as well. I mean, he was saying one of the most successful successful managers managed in Japan. We all know that's Wenger. It was Wenger. But I think Wenger is well, I had to say it about an Arsenal manager, but Wenger was a different
different
class
time.
of manager,
Different level,
type of
yeah.
manager. Yeah, it is a difficult one, but yeah, I think there's not many people that we can really go out and say they definitely could come in and do much different, is there? I don't think. I mean, if we get a Tuchel, he's going to piss off the board within 6 months and go because he won't fall in with Daniel Levy's line. If we go out and get an Areola, we won't have anything nicer for it. So you've got two ends of the spectrum, and either way, we're going to fall into this trap one way or another, aren't we?
Dave's not giving it up. He said that you can't say Wenger's a different class without giving Anja a shot.
Didn't Wenger manage at Monaco as well? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I think he managed at Monaco as well.
I don't make a habit of knowing all the backside and workings of Arsenal management.
My friends group, Callum, is 2 Spurs fans and 2 Arsenal fans. So half the time I'm watching Arsenal when talking about Arsenal anyway, because I have to. It's my area. My area is literally Tottenham and Arsenal, basically.
Before we move on to Burnley, I also say my piece on Postecoglou, right? Okay, it's been a bad 4 games. We've been bad, but this is a manager's first season. We've had good moments throughout the season. We've had bad moments. But any of us, I think, us with common sense would have taken us being in the top 4 battle. Yeah, even 4 or 5 games to go. Yeah, okay, with the outsiders in it now, it's probably not going to happen. But let's say we finish 5th or even 6th, worst case scenario. We would have taken that at the start of the season, considering where the expectations were. And I hate to keep banging that drum, but I think that is very, very important. So get behind him. Whether he's right for the Premier League, whether he succeed at Tottenham, we don't know. But for me, he has to start next season. He has to, for me, he has to have the whole season, to be honest with you, unless it goes catastrophically wrong. He has to have the opportunity to implement his style. Another 2 transfer windows to have his say. Because it took, Arsenal wouldn't. I hate to say it, but I think Arsenal have a very good chance to win the title. Whether they will or not, we don't know. I think they will eventually under Mikel Arteta. Whenever it is, the titles come in for Arsenal under Arteta. Is this season, next season, trophies are coming. They're in the right direction. Whether we like it or not, I think we're in for Arsenal dominance. And I think we're talking all competitions as well. I think the money we splashed again this summer, and I can see Pep leading City in the next couple of years, and it will all be Arsenal.
Yeah,
get behind
Ange next season. It'll be
trust the process. But by all means, you could be critical of him. You can even want him out, but still, for me, you just have to get behind him. For me, regardless. But I don't kind of buy this idea of there isn't managers out there. I don't think we should get rid of Ange. I wouldn't even consider it anytime soon.
Makes a good point.
There's loads of managers.
Tuchel, because I'm one of those people who says, "Oh, there's Tuchel, there's Glasner." But the problem is with our board, Harry, is it's like you need to get a manager that's going to work with literally anything.
But we'll set the wrong example to the players, though, in terms of they aren't performing, they aren't turning up, they've checked out for the season, and the manager goes. It's not Man United's the same problem. Chelsea's the same problem. The players can put their legs up and stop playing, and they know the manager will go. Their job's safe, their wages safe. It's time to start changing that.
Conte summed it up the best last year, saying the club is happy with this. The club does this. It gives the players this sensibility that they're acceptable to do whatever they want and all that. And it's this these players think they're invincible. And
he was delusional, Conte, but he was right in what he said.
He was delusional.
Yeah. He was right with it.
Well, I wouldn't say
he's stubborn, wasn't he? He stuck with the same tactics.
I don't.
In the foot.
But I don't think he had a choice, because if you look at defence on paper,
let's not get into that.
No, but the thing, he did say some home truths, and it's been the same thing. Mourinho has said it, Poch has said it, Conte said it. Now Ange is saying it as well. So I mean, there's definitely.
Sorry, so could you might explain the context? Sorry.
Yeah, Mark, if you can tell us what that's for, mate, that would be helpful, and then we can speak about it. But yeah, Haz is right. The culture of the club is wrong, and it's been wrong for 10 years now. 10 years now, and you can't. It's not going to change unless you get players out that want to be part of this project. And if that's what Andrew has said, he's got a weak squad. He's got a lot of players who don't want to buy into his project. Fine, there's a door. Sell them for whatever. We know Levy won't do that, but the idea would be to just turn it over and clear the players out, because it can't just be blamed on the manager all the time when the same players stay there sticking
Yeah, I'm not
It
blaming it all
can't
on Ange,
be
by the
the
way.
manager.
places.
We've had
I'm not
so
blaming it all
many
on Ange.
different managers. It cannot
Yeah.
be the manager. But at the same time, is it some of the players? Because a lot of these players are different. I just don't know. And has where I'm go with this, and I don't think it's that either. So I don't know what it is in terms of mentality thing, but I think that generally people do get carried away. It's been a bad 4 weeks. We bounced back against Burnley. We finished 5th. All is happy.
I think with Arsenal, I want to make a point here. They had Ozil, Aubameyang, Lacazette, which unfortunately I have to rate back to Arsenal because I've watched the documentary of them and it's kind of relating to this. So at Spurs, we've stuck with Ndombele for how many years now? I've lost count. Is it 4 years?
5 years
Too many.
now. His contract's up next year. He signed his 6-year deal in 2019. Same with Lo Celso.
And so anyway, so in the documentary, Arteta basically, there's a conversation I have about Aubameyang, and then obviously, as we all know, they sold him within like a year or so that Arteta was there. And Ozil left, Lacazette left because they had a clique which was like causing dressing room problems. Now at Spurs, I'd argue we have more than one player like that, probably. So is Ange going to have the authority? Because this is another thing to say, I don't want this player, I don't want that player. He's messing up the dressing room. Okay, he costs because I'm sorry, Kulusevski, he costs 30 million, but he doesn't fit the way we play. He's not good enough. Is Levy going to bite the bullet, especially because say something like Kulusevski last season, and just sell him?
It's a question we'll ask in the transfer window, mate. I think we can only wait until that point, and we can't go.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, the manager has to have the authority to do this. Like Arteta has had the authority at Arsenal. I'm trying to say.
No, fair enough. And going to you first, Burnley. Talk to me. How are you feeling about next Saturday? And talk me through what your lineup will look like. Another bold lineup I'm expecting from you.
A bold lineup. Vicario in goal, I guess. Porro right, then Van de Ven, Romero. I might as well just put Skip there, I guess, on the left. And then my midfield is okay. Lo Celso has to play, I think, because I don't know what this guy needs to do to get a game. Actually, no. Can we skip into the midfield and put Dragusin in? Okay, let's do that. Okay, put Dragusin in defence, move Van de Ven on the left, put Skip, Lo Celso, and Sarr. That would be my 3. Yeah, and then Richarlison has to play. Son, because we don't have anyone else really, and I guess Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, obviously, I've been championing 5-3-2 for the past 4 weeks, but that's because of the teams we've been playing. We're at home to Burnley, and even though I'm not convinced we're going to win, we have to play like 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 or something attacking because we have to get at them. So, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Kallum, how are you feeling? Talk me through your lineup.
It's a must-win. We just got to win there, mate. We can't go down to Burnley, who are theoretically already relegated.
We're at home, actually, Kallum.
Burnley have to win, otherwise they're gone.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Theoretically, playing at home, we should have no problem against them. Yeah, we should boot them up in the air. We tanked them 5-2 at Turf Moor, and the only reason they got 2 goals was because we switched off, like what every team's done with us the last 2 weeks.
Didn't they take the lead? Swear they took
No, I think they was we was 2-1 up or something like that, I swear. But no, I'd go Vicario, Porro, Romero, Dragu, Skip. Not Skip, no. Van de Ven. Yeah. And then I'd go Lo Celso, Maddison, and Skip in the middle 3. And I'd go Son, Richarlison, Johnson. So
there's not many options there, unfortunately.
I've just brought the Burnley game up. So they took the lead in the 4th minute through Liam Foster, but then we scored 5 goals, and then they got a 94th minute consolation, if you like. So there we go.
It's a must-win game. I mean, I'd bloody throw Mikey Moore in if I needed to and all that, just to say, well, look, he wants to play for the badge. You lot are idiots. Let's put it that way.
You couldn't have said it better, really.
They just need to buck their ideas up. That's the thing. I mean, we've got two games at home now on the trot. We've got Burnley
City and
Burnley and City, haven't we? And then we're away at Sheffield United, I think,
They're
for the
down
last
already,
game.
so yeah.
Yeah, but for some reason they'll have their greatest game of the season
Like Newcastle,
against
remember?
us. Oh,
Yeah,
the 5-1 when we was
when they
down
were
and all that,
relegated.
weren't it?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. But we've just got to play at home like we can turn it into a fortress, because some of them home games this year have been embarrassing as well.
I think what worries me is like the Luton game where we just about scraped the win, and then I'd argue Burnley are
Luton,
probably better.
Sheffield United.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
No,
Burnley are better than
There
them,
we go.
surely, right?
I hope so.
I can see us though. I can see it. Drawing to Burnley or Sheffield United. Draw would be bad for both teams. Burnley relegated and Spurs, I don't know what, fifth slipping away.
We'll
and
do
then
that,
beating
and
Man
then
City.
we'll do that, and then we'll end up just sixth or something, and Newcastle or Chelsea will pip us to it by a point. Just be
Can you imagine if
diabolical,
Chelsea
won't
finish above us? And United won't. Obviously, the result tonight, losing 4-0 as we speak. But Newcastle.
And Chelsea got a nice run of fixtures in the last. I haven't seen.
They haven't got too bad. I think they've got Bournemouth at home. They've got Brighton. So they've got winnable games.
Oh,
But
they can
also
win
there's
those
obstacles
games,
in there. Yeah, I think it'd be close. It'd be points. But my lineup that I would play. So the back four would be Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Oliver Skip. I'd play Oliver Skip from now to the end of the season. All seriousness, as a left wing back. And I would keep the inverted fullbacks. I don't think said that the last 7-8 weeks. But Burnley, they've got a bit to play for. They could come out a little bit, and inverted fullbacks could exploit them. Midfield, this isn't going to go down well. Kulusevski will be the number 10, and I'd have Bissouma and Højbjerg. I'm sick of a lack of protection for the defence. I think both of them give you that. Son hasn't been good enough, so Lo Celso for me plays on the left-hand side. Also, will offer protection to Skip. Johnson will be on the right, and Richarlison will be down the middle. I think that overall it'll be a very unpopular lineup.
Did you notice how we all picked different midfields and forwards?
Yeah, so different midfields.
You know what it's going to be. It's going to be exactly the same team.
Bissouma, Sarr, and
and then we're going to have Kulusevski, Johnson, Son, and all that. There's nothing that's going to change from here till the end of the season. I don't think. Maybe one or two tinkers, and we're just going to be seeing the same old dross and all that. It'll go, oh, Emerson played well this week. Oh, Kulusevski played well, or something like that. There's nothing that's going to grip Spurs fans to make us want to enjoy the end of the season and all that. And I mean, you guys are probably at least going to one of the home games before the end of the season, something like that. So yeah, you're going Burnley. Haz, are you going
to both of them? I'm actually meeting David at one of them, Harry. I'm a 16 older, so yeah.
So that's the thing. Nice. So you guys are going to be sitting in the stadium. I'm going to be sitting in a pub. Well, don't worry, I'll be suffering in a pub somewhere.
How many goes Saturday? Because I've got premium
This
lunch.
is why I buy snacks and bring them to the stadium, because at least when we lose, I can have some food. During the game on against Liverpool, I had some cookies. I had some cookies during the game. I was like, I might as well enjoy myself somehow.
It's just going to be a long couple of games, I think, and we'll get there, and then we'll be having this discussion about playing Newcastle straight after the end of the season.
Why are we playing this game?
Because it's commercial revenue. It's another way of enhancing.
Is it Australia? Is that the one in Australia?
Okay. Yeah, flying all the way to Melbourne to play Newcastle on the 22nd of May, I think it is. So it's the game's finished on the Saturday or Sunday. And we're playing either the Tuesday or Wednesday. It's literally like you've got a 24-hour flight and you're playing within that, and then you come back, have a couple of days off, and then I think Euros squads start picking up and all that.
It's in June, isn't it? So yeah.
So I mean, literally, you've got this is going to be a very disjointed summer. I think, let's put it that way. And I mean, where everyone's going, we want transfer business done early. I don't think people are going to do it and all that. No matter if you got this FFP coefficient and all that stuff.
It's not enough time, really, is it? Is it like 4 weeks in between the season ending and the Euros starting, I think?
Yeah, and I don't think the Euros is in just one country this time. It's all over the place. So yeah, it's
you pretty much have 8 weeks of transfers, really, because if it's 4 weeks before the Euro starts, and then you have
July
14th of June to 14th of July, then you have another month till the Premier League starts. So
It's going to be a long summer, and I'm sure we'll all do shows across multiple channels talking about all of that stuff. But
oh yeah, these there you go. Callum said it. They're gonna remind me because I'm never good at remembering everything. The shows will continue throughout the summer every Monday, 7:45 p.m. We're talking transfers. Might touch on England Spurs friendlies. Let's hope there's a lot of transfer action to discuss. But score prediction time, Callum. I will come to you. Come on, a lot of negative discussion throughout tonight.
I think I went
We've got to win.
4-2 Spurs, didn't I, last night?
You can change it if you like. There's no table here.
I think I'll go. I'll go 4-2 Spurs. 4-2.
Okay, you're sticking with it. Nice. Haz, come on, even for you, we've got to win this, right? Come on.
I mean, I would have thought so, but I'd watch a scrape past United.
Come on.
And scrape past Luton.
He's going to predict a draw, 2-2.
2-2, yeah.
Oh, come on. Written in the stars.
I don't think Burnley have scored that many goals, have they, in any game this
season?
season?
No.
How many
they can't score, they can't defend. That's why they're where they are.
The problem is Burnley have to win this game. If they're already down, I would have said like 3-0 Tottenham, but they're going to come to us and they're going to...
It's hard for us in terms of Burnley have to win, but that also could play into our hands.
We'll see the season, if I'm being honest, Harry, because they have to play well to stay up, so...
I think Burnley will play really well, but I think we'll win 2-1. I think the quality will shine through. I think they'll actually take the lead and not know quite what to do with it. I think they go for the second, get cold, and we'll win the game 2-1, and we'll relegate Vincent Kompany and his Burnley side. I think they also agree by mutual consent that he'll leave the club that evening as well.
Do you think he'll get sacked?
Yeah. I think he's done all right. I think he's done all right in terms of Sean Dyche. Yeah, we know done an excellent job in that decade. I know you like him at Burnley, but they went through a transition.
I mean, come on, Dyche has got them up again.
I know, right? They got a lot of players in that.
I can't see Kompany being sacked. To be honest,
I mean, that's nuts.
Why would they do that?
I think he will be. Because Burnley, that's what the Burnley board are like. Look at Sean Dyche; he should never have been sacked.
No, it's a different board now compared to when Kompany took over. They've got that new American owner.
Oh yeah, of course. So you're right.
The American owner loves him and all that. He's actually put a lot of money into developing the facilities and building up turf more. So I think they. Obviously, going down doesn't help because each team, when they get promoted, get a certain amount of money and they have to stay in the league to receive. I think it's spread over like 3 years.
Payments, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you get 40 million out of the 120 that you get each year and all that. So they theoretically have to come back up. And I think Kompany is the best chance of them doing that. Yeah, Conte's going to Conte rocking up at Turf Moor. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? He'd go down really well with them. But yeah, I think that if they keep Kompany, they'll be the best of the bunch down in.
I think they'll come back up anyway.
Yeah, they'll have the best players probably in there compared to like Sheffield if they go down. And I mean, I think there's probably a good chance Luton are the ones that are going to go down now, isn't it? Because Forest look quite safe now, the same with Everton. So if
they do, but what's interesting is Nottingham Forest play Burnley on the last day of the season. So if Burnley somehow do beat us, then that could be interesting.
You never know.
Oh yeah, Burnley. Who's it? Burnley playing who? Forest.
Burnley play Forest on the last day.
On the last day.
It's only interesting, but I think personally that Burnley be relegated. But it's whether Burnley want to stop Forest from being in the league, except with Luton. Luton should show fight,
and they didn't work.
Yeah. If I'm honest with you, bold prediction. I think Luton will be alright. I think Luton will stay up by the finest of margins.
Burnley can't actually come out of relegation because by one
they can.
But yeah, I mean they've got to win both their last 2 games and all that, and Forest have got.
It's going to be funny, but it's we're not saying that. It's like Huddersfield, like in the Championship, we said they have to win both their games and overturn a 10-goal difference. We're not talking about that. It should be reasonable. But I'll do a quick FPL update before we get to people's questions because I'm wary of time. Sean Holder remains first. In fact, the top 3 say the same with Sean Holder, Rob Perry, and Mickey Race leading the way. And the gap is very interesting. We're talking 8-10 points in it. So it's very, very interesting. It's definitely heating up. 4th place, Will Savage. 5th is Mark Sweeney. 6th, Liam. 7th, Tommy C. 8th, Alfred. 9th, Lewis Godfrey. 10th, Andrew. So everyone moving up from 4th to 10th. Tom Carr falling in 11th. Luca Fagna falling to 12th. We've got AK up to 13th. Tom Davis falling to 14th. And Solomon up to 15th. I think I'm making a little bit of progress right at the bottom. Let's find me. 93rd. Okay. It's better than what was it, 104 last time. I know it's awful. Yeah, it's all Callum's face there. It's bad, but it's getting better. Quick question for you both before we do get to the questions. And Callum, I'll come to you first. I love to ask this question. It's the only chance I'm going to have. How many points are we going to get for our next 9 points available? So our last 3 Premier League games. That's Burnley at home, Manchester City at home, and Sheffield United away. Callum, how many points are you
I'm
getting?
going to go 6. 6 points.
So we're losing City.
I reckon so.
I'm feeling a 3 or 4 from Haz.
4. Sure, we're going to beat Sheffield United. I mean, come on.
I'm going to agree with you with 4. I think we're going to beat Burnley 2-1. I think we're going to lose to City narrowly. I think we're drawing to Sheffield United. That'd be such a Tottenham thing to do.
You reckon we get outdone by Chris Wilder in his most boring dinosaur football ever?
Imagine if they won.
His players aren't that great, so I don't know what people are expecting from him.
I think you should stay in charge, but you won't. But
well, all they'll do, they'll sack him, get another manager for 6 months. Yeah, for 6 months, and then get him back in 6 months' time, and all that.
No ambition. But we'll move on to people's questions. And first question is from Mark Taylor, who's an Arsenal fan, by the way. But he says, at the start of the season, Spurs looked great while Andrew's tactics were new. Since then, they've been found out. Do you see him lasting in his job? I'm honestly not trolling. Callum, you said that, along with me, that Ange needs to be back. We said this, throughout this week and, last couple of weeks, etc. We say it all season, but in particular, last few weeks and days. But for you, can you see it ending next season? Let's say, because Levy likes to sack people in that November period, just before we get to the Christmas period. That 1st of November, last day of October. Yeah, he loves it. Little early Christmas present for the fans. I don't know what it is, but can you honestly see it happen? Because if I'm totally honest with you, I can see it. I can see it next season. I'm trying to stay positive, but I think it will happen. What do you reckon?
Being a Spurs fan, there's always a chance that anything can happen with us, mate. So, I mean, yeah, there is a chance that it could happen, but I hope it don't. But I honestly don't know. It will all depend on the end of this year, and it will depend on how good a transfer window he has. And it's more about getting players out, I think, at the moment. So if he is backed, then I can see him staying. But if not, you never know. Ange might walk out because he's that pissed off with the club and all that. He seems like one of them managers who could do that if he isn't happy with it. So you never know.
Part of me thinks to get the City job when Pep leaves in a season or so's time.
I think they were looking at De Zerbi, but I don't know about now.
Everyone's looking at
closer you can get to Pep, maybe.
Probably Bayern are looking at De Zerbi because they've.
I think Bayern won't go De Zerbi
being linked with West Ham.
Yeah, but then Lopetegui
Lopetegui's getting the job, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he got.
I think that's a good appointment, but apparently that's an unpopular opinion by the looks of it. I think he's done all right. He's threw his toys out the pram when they said that they had to sell Neves, Jimenez, and players like that. Actually, if you look at it, he's done a flipping good job. But there we are.
I think Gary Neville's actually done quite well there. But...
I think he's done really well. Areola with Bournemouth and Glasner with Palace. There is managers out there, but still backhand. Haz, next question for you. Is it the players or manager? I think you're going to say both.
Yeah, both.
Yeah. Nice short answer.
That's a surprise for Haz.
I know.
I've already been on enough long rants.
I'm waiting for him to say something. Haz, I will stick with you though, because Barney says, is the lack of clean sheets concerning? Only 5 in the league this season.
Yes, it is very concerning.
Jesus,
because as you know, goals can win you games, but defenses can win you titles, and that's the old saying. But also, considering you look at our defense on paper, Van der Ven, who I worry for his hammies in the future. Romero, Porro, Udogie, who we all sat there and said they're quality defenders. And even Vicario, because Vicario, to be fair to him, he's done well this season, right? And you compare that back 5 or back 4, whatever you call it, to Dyer, Davies, Longley, Emerson, Ben Davies at left wing back, and obviously Lloris, who was, let's be honest, he was finished by that point last season. We shouldn't be conceding this many goals. We're almost the same amount we were last season, with arguably much, much better quality defenders, much, much better quality defense. But clearly, it's the tactics that's costing us in that department. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, I don't think they practice defensive shape or defensive lines or that's what it seems like when I watch the games. It's like, do they even practice this thing? Like set pieces, to me, is something very simple. We you know, Harry, because you play school football. I remember when I was a kid in primary school or secondary school, they would be like, "Oh, now we're doing a session for corners or a session for free kicks," and we sit there and we practice taking free kicks or long shots, whatever. It's like they don't even do that. So, I just I don't even know. It's like they don't practice at all. But then Ange comes out and says set pieces aren't important. Well, that equates to a third of our goals we're conceding.
I don't get that.
So it's like, well, it's very concerning.
Yeah. No, I'm in absolute full agreement with you. I think it is concerning, whatever way you look at it. Callum, Barney also goes on to say, how much responsibility is that on Vicario and the defence? Obviously, we know set pieces being a big problem.
Yeah, it's definitely on them, because at the end of the day, they are paid professionals. They have chosen to be defenders in their career, and goalkeepers. So I mean, no matter how much we might not focus on set pieces, Jedinak has already said that he works on defensive work, so they must be doing something on the training ground, even if they're just learning 101 defensive moments. So definitely they are ultimately responsible for a lot of it. So yeah, they've got to step up and say that Vicario, when everyone was praising him in the first place as one of the best goalkeepers this year, well, they found out that he can't catch a ball in the air or don't know how to protect himself. He's very weak. Our defenders only zonal mark, so they're not looking how to pick up men. And our fullbacks, well, they just like to push forward and actually don't act as defenders. So theoretically, you've only got 3 people in that situation who can't defend, who can't stop us conceding stuff. And yeah, for all the good stuff that if they do 3 good things right, so Van der Ven recovery, a good stop by Vicario, and a Romero block, there's going to be 12 other things that they've done wrong and all that. So
But it's to do with probabilities, though, Callum, because like the Newcastle game, Isak was left 1-on-1 with Van der Ven and Romero how many times? So eventually it was gonna happen. A goal was going to happen, especially for Isak's form. Again, I mentioned Davies Saka. If you're leaving Davies by himself with Saka, I don't know what you're expecting to happen. If you're leaving Emerson by himself with Salah, again, I don't know what outcome you're expecting apart from them to score a goal. So it's like, well, it's like the player they've been hung out to dry it. Lamson's
Haz.
It's just
TNR Photo asks on X, do you feel the fan base is impatient with Ange, as there were boos in the crowd at Stamford Bridge when the subs were made and lots of negative comments about his style of play? He has not even been in the job a year yet. So where do you stand with that?
Well, okay. I see where he's coming from in terms of being impatient with the manager himself, but I think Spurs fans are not really impatient. I think we're starved of trophies, so we're impatient because of that. As in, we want us to win something. So and I think it's part of the problem with the sacking of the managers, because you could argue even I'm part of the problem because I'm sick of just waiting. Like it's been over 15 years and I'm still waiting for another trophy since 2008. And it's like, well, is it I think it's more of a club issue, being impatient with the club rather than impatient with Ange himself. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. And the last question I'm going to give to you, Callum. Gary says, Ange, no, actually, I'm going to give you this bit. Will he get 4 to 5? Well, yeah, will Ange get 4 to 5 first team players he needs in the summer?
I hope so. I really hope so. But
and who would you sign if you were in charge? Who would you want to get?
Are we talking if I've got a war chest, or are we talking if I'm Daniel
200
Levy?
million. 200 million.
200 million. Gyökeres from Sporting. I'd go out and get Anthony Robinson from Fulham.
Yeah.
Back up left back.
Sure.
Right back's a problem. So I'd probably go and take a punt on Livramento from Newcastle. He's only 32 million, so you could get that. I'd go and get Jeremy Pino from Villarreal. He's kind of that star winger in the making. probably need a number 6. So maybe. Oh, there's someone. I think it's Fernandez.
Paulinho?
Nah, too old for me. Maybe Fernandez from Juventus. He's on loan somewhere. Who's like a really good number 6. So yeah, I'd say you could probably get all of them for 200 mil. Probably, most likely. So yeah, I'd take them. But if I'm Daniel Levy, then I know that you're just gonna end up with Lloyd Kelly as left back.
We've even been linked with Lloyd Kelly, by the way.
I know. Last season as well, you're gonna end up.
This window I was reading. Yeah.
Oh god.
That is all your questions answered. So thank you very much to everyone who's watched the day show, because that is the end. If you're on the channel,
Newcastle, wasn't he? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're on the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It's free to do so, and it does help the channel's content grow and improve. The aim is to get to 2K. It was by the end of the season, so you've got less than 2 weeks to do so. So make sure you do that. So just over. I think 60 odd away, so it is still possible. So your support is much appreciated. Like we see, smash the like button, turn the notifications bell on to keep up to date with all my content. Get involved in the comments; it's very key to get your opinions. But if you're listening on a podcast platform, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star review. Apologies for any language used by Kallum throughout today's show. I apologise on his behalf. But Kallum, where can we find you? And thank you very much for coming on.
Cheers for having me on, mate, as always. So you can find me on X at CallumStubbs97. You can also find me on Park Lane Podcast with H, Luke, Winnie, Dave. So obviously go and give a like and subscribe to Park Lane Podcast. Go and check out.
We've just made a big announcement that Wes will be my replacement. And you could say that you're in very safe hands, because Wes is fantastic. He's tactics is fantastic. So the podcast is headed in a very good direction. So make sure to subscribe.
Exactly. So Wes will be replacing you, but you have got your own show, obviously, as part of Park Lane that you announced last night.
Premier League show.
Yeah, Premier League show. So go and check that out. And obviously, thanks for having me on, mate.
That one with Ori. Sorry.
Hey. All right. Yeah, no worries. Haz, where can people find you? Friday show. Talk about the Friday show.
I mean, honestly, my own channel, Hasper TV. Also, I haven't streamed in a very long time, but I do reaction videos now from matches, and I do the odd video here and there. I'm probably going to be streaming. I sound like TJ now. I'll be back streaming next season, because Tottenham really just.
He always says that. He says that every season.
Rebrand the channel.
Yeah.
And that might happen on my channel as well. But yeah, obviously, me and Harry have a preview show every Friday, which will be Burnley this time, 7 p.m. on Spurs Kings. And yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, and if you just want someone to follow on Twitter, follow me at Hasper92. Yes, surprisingly, someone in the chat said I was balanced, which I'll take that. Yeah,
they did.
It's only labeled as something else. But yeah, if you want different opinions, just go follow me on Twitter and follow my channel. And I'm also on other streams like Tottenham Away, Tottenham on Tour, all these other stuff as well. So yeah, you can find me on there.
There you go. Go check Haz and Kallum out on all socials and channels. Spurs Kings TV, Haz Spurs TV, Park Lane Podcast as well. And of course, the channel here, as we've already plugged. But for now, we will say a big Scuffy Spurs talk. Absolutely. A big comedy Spurs.
You were working as a manager at Celtic Park when we met you. We picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You've turned us into something new. And Postecoglou, you know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. And Postecoglou, we're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, we look so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Pasta Kallum, oh, Pasta Kallum, baby. Pasta Kallum, oh.